They think that our laughter has evolved from when you see them cackle like that.
Oh.
Like it's something from our common ancestor.
So that sound that they make
sound.
and our sound of laughing.
As us.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I used to breed roaches.
All right.
No, stop. No, stop. This is StarTalk. Neil deGrasse Tyson, your personal astrophysicist. Chuck Nice, I got with me here.
That's right. What's up, Neil?
Chuck, just make it clear, you were not born my co-host.
No, I was not born.
You were born in the streets of...
I was born the son of a sharecropper.
Ken Burns' Civil War.
Yeah,
is that
exactly.
what that is? We're going to do another Cosmic Queries.
Yes.
A Grag Bag edition. This is becoming a fan favorite.
People love it.
That's okay.
Because
But
we can ping pong anywhere we want in the cosmos.
But it means I might not know stuff. And I'm,
That's yet to happen. I mean...
All right.
There's something to shoot for here now.
Okay. Let me aim for not knowing something.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So let's go.
All right, let's get to it. This is Natasha Shaw Davis. Good evening, Dr. Tyson and Honorable Paul his goofiness.
Oh, Paul Mercurio.
Paul Mercurio. Baron Paul Mercurio.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
apparently Baron
They were
was supposed to be
expecting him.
Yeah, not Lord, but Baron.
Okay. So people are expecting Paul for this episode.
Yes. That's
what did you do with Paul?
Listen,
Is he
Paul,
locked in your trunk?
Paul could not be with us today. I'm just saying.
Is he in your trunk?
Right, and if you hear muffled screams coming from the closet,
All right.
all right. He says, Natasha says this. Natasha from New Mexico. Here, eyes see some wiggles in matter, and ears hear a little more, but the whole body experiences gravity. If you could pick any organ to deliberately experience the graviton, what would you pick?
My heart.
Oh. Oh my God, that was so sweet.
Because my heart has its requisite number of beats per minute.
Right.
And it goes up when you get excited or
Yes.
you exercise,
Okay.
and it calms down. So the heart is with you in your emotional moments.
Correct.
So if a graviton or gravitational wave,
Right.
the graviton would be, the
particle
version of the wave.
Right.
If it washed over me or passed through me, I'd want my heart to participate in that.
Oh.
My heart as the graviton detector.
Oh, I have to the heart wants what the heart wants. And apparently it's a graviton. So
That's the geek dating app.
that's the geek. Swipe right for graviton. That's
All right.
cool. All right. She says, this is Bev from Alabama. Will we ever be able to cultivate the right terrier for wine other than Earth? Thank you for gifting us with your insights. In other words, will we be able to grow a vineyard on another planet?
Okay, you're going to have to back and read that. If you're going to pretend like you know anything about wine, you have to pronounce the words right. Terroir.
Terroir. Okay,
Okay.
Here we go. Will we be able to cultivate the right terroir?
You don't have to like gutterize into the microphone.
Yes, exactly. I have to say the word like I'm Sylvester Stallone. Will we be able to cultivate the right terroir for wine other than Earth? Really? So what's I guess
I think the answer is no.
right?
Can I tell you why?
Okay.
Well, first, terroir is a French word that we don't have an English counterpart to.
Clearly,
It's not the first of such words.
yeah.
You know another word we don't have for?
Go ahead.
Light fixture in the middle of the room that has crystal and multiple lights hanging in it.
Chandelier.
We don't have a word for that.
No, we don't. You know why? Because we're not nearly as pretentious as the French. And nobody in colonial America had a chandelier. Okay?
Let's turn on the light.
That's
whatever that is.
right, exactly. Right. We had a single bulb on a pixie. Just
Not in
pigtail.
colonial America did they have bulbs.
That's true. True. Gas lamps.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you gas
give it a
lamp.
gas lamp,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
Okay.
it probably whale blubber oil.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. So Wine doesn't grow in most places on Earth.
That's right.
And if there's ever a place where they're growing hops to make beer, it's because they could not grow grapes to make wine.
Oh, wow. You really diss beer just
No,
then.
I'm just...
Man, you just threw a lot of shade on beer. You're like, the only reason you're able to drink beer is because that crap is not as good as wine.
The economics of it.
Okay.
It's economics. Okay.
It's true.
And I didn't invent this datum.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Singular of data.
Right. Datum. Right.
It's
Datum if you can.
if you can grow the ingredients for beer or the ingredients for wine, the people choose the grapes. And I'm guessing it's because it's more profitable.
I was going to say grapes have more uses than hops.
And so that as well, of course. Yes. Yeah. So around the world, the places where you can grow successful wine is so rare than to say, well, Earth can grow wine, so can another planet. Yeah, I'm not feeling that.
Right.
Not only that, the moon has a surface, but it's not soil. We might call it that, but it's not. You know what it is? No. It's pulverized rock.
Right.
Micrometeorites that don't stop in the atmosphere because
there is no atmosphere.
There's no atmosphere.
The worst restaurant ever.
No atmosphere.
Yeah.
Hits the rock, pulverizes it, turns it into lunar dust. The geologists call that the regolith.
The regolith.
Which is powderized rock.
Yeah.
Plants don't like rock.
No, they don't. They like soil.
Right. So, and same with Mars. Mars doesn't have... So our soil has living organisms in it that make it this thing that plants like. So I'm thinking wine might be unique to Earth and the universe.
Wow.
Yeah. No, think of it another way. Some other planet will have some other thing unique to it.
Exactly.
And then we become trading partners.
There you go. Right.
We didn't make silk. They made it in the Far East. Make the Silk Road. Right. We made something else they want.
So we will give them wine and they will give us space heroin. Like, oh man, I thought wine was good. You ain't living until you
some more of this opium.
Space opium, boy.
The wine high holds nothing on an opium high.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to take.
No, I think everything.
I'm going to take the Fifth Amendment on that.
Everything you said tracks, though.
Earth is Earth, and nowhere
by the
else.
way, wine is climate and soil.
That's it.
That's it.
And the climate change that's happening has affected where you can grow wines.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact,
there's a couple of degree change in the thing,
and it ruins or helps.
Right.
It can either ruin or help.
Places rise or fall.
Yeah.
On such small changes.
Exactly. As a matter of fact, like I think, I don't know what wine it is, but they are growing in certain parts of England now.
Oh, they're growing champagne in England?
Yeah, champagne.
Oh, you can't say champagne.
No, because you can only say champagne if it is from Champagne. It had to be from Champagne. Or you cannot say, I will arrest you. Someone called the police here saying that it is from Champagne. It is not from Champagne. It is not. And you cannot say it's from Burgundy unless it is from Burgundy.
Exactly. To Gallo Hardy Burgundy. Right. That was a flavor that they had.
Right.
Flavor. That was a brand of wine. Hardy Burgundy.
Hardy Burgundy.
No. Plus, if you say you smoke marijuana.
Right.
Okay. You can't say that. Unless it comes from the marijuana section of France. Otherwise, it's just sparkling oregano.
I didn't know where you were going with that. Man, you had me. You had me lock, stock, and barrel. I was like, what the hell is he doing right now?
Where's he going?
Where's he? But okay. Yeah, that was good. Sparkling oregano. Okay, I like it. That was good. All right, this is Sasha.
See, no other planet could have those jokes.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Right, exactly.
There it is. Okay.
All
Plus,
right.
you need the French to be a part of the culture of how you're going to make fun of that.
Listen, without the French, nothing works.
It's a boring world.
It's a boring world. Okay? World sucks without the French. Sucks more with them, but
Chuck. He's a comedian.
Guys, come on.
He's a comedian.
Stop it. I'm joking. I love the French.
Go.
All right. This is Sasha975 who says, hello, everyone. Sasha from Germany here. How big could telescopes really get if we could manufacture them in space? Could we use an array of telescopes? Wow.
This has been on our mind for decades.
Yes.
Decades.
Yeah.
And so what you wouldn't make a single big dish because that's not realistic.
Right.
But we figured out using engineering and complex mathematics.
Okay.
Literally complex mathematics. So in the complex plane of imaginary numbers, and you can create so here's how you do it. You can put a telescope over here and a telescope over here. If they observe the same object and you have it exactly timed and you know what, then you can combine them as though you had a dish or a mirror that was as big as the separation between them.
Very cool.
But that takes some fancy math to make that work, and timing and the like.
Okay.
And so anytime you see an array of radio telescopes,
Yes.
you could use them individually, but generally we don't.
Right.
They're used in harmony.
Yeah.
And it's as though you had a dish the size in fact, we do better than that. We have a string of these dishes, and as Earth rotates, you can fill in the area with more observations to improve your data. And so in space, where there is no stress load, because if it's orbiting, then it's just weightless, there's no stress load on the equipment,
Right.
then nothing stops how big you can make this array.
Right.
We're thinking if we're going to detect certain wavelengths of gravitational waves,
Right.
you need detectors,
huge detector.
the diameter of the Earth,
Right.
or the Earth moon,
Right.
or maybe Earth to Earth in its orbit around the sun.
Wow.
The wavelengths of energy reaching us don't stop at just the size of our detectors.
Right.
Make a bigger detector, you're going to be sensitive to a different kind of energy headed our way. So for a while, NASA had plans for the SIM. SIM is a space
The video game.
interferometry.
Where you create a character and it walks around.
Is that how that works?
It was called Sims, I think.
It was Sim City. You'd be like mayor of the city.
Yeah. I never got it.
You never got it? Okay.
Never understood it.
And then like Godzilla would walk through every now and then. You had
That
to
I understand.
repair everything.
Yeah, that I understand.
And I said, this is stupid. Well, Godzilla's not even real. And then like stuff can happen to us. There could be a fire. There could be a terrorist attack.
Yeah.
It's Godzilla.
Yeah. If you want to listen, my thing is this: if you want to play God, have children.
Yeah, you're playing God of the
You're
city.
playing God with the Sims.
Yeah.
But anyway, space
Interferometry mission.
Interferometry mission.
So interferometry is you take different telescopes and bring them together as one telescope.
Right.
Okay. So this one was one of them was like on a rigid bar. I'm dredging memory now because it's from decades ago. One was on a rigid bar that was very large, but then we figured you can station keep with like lasers. So the rigid bars, so you always know how far away they are from each other. But if you use lasers and you just always measure how far, because what matters is that you know how far away they are,
Right.
not necessarily that it's the constant distance.
Right.
So if I always know, because I have laser measures, then you could, in principle, create one of these telescopes in space as big as you wanted.
Wow.
They could beam across Earth's orbit, Earth's diameter, Earth to moon. And there's a lot of talk of radio telescopes on the backside of the moon, the far side of the moon, because there's no radio noise coming from
us.
Earth.
Right.
Earth. We are noisy, radio noisy
Disgusting.
place. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You never heard anybody knocking on the atmosphere? Like, keep it down. Damn it, I gotta work tomorrow.
the aliens cut out your racket. So yes, space, we've thought a lot about it.
Right.
And it's a matter of there's funding, you have to maintain it. It's not just the cost of building it. There's every year there's
You gotta maintenance it.
Yeah, there's the usage of it,
Right.
which okay, but also if something goes wrong, if it's in Earth orbit, you can get back to it. But if it's out in space, like the James Webb Telescope,
Right.
something goes wrong there, that's it.
We're done.
We ain't going. It's 1,000,000 miles farther than the moon. Wow. We're not sending people there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Something goes wrong with the James Webb. I say, AI, Go out there and fix it. Oh, we don't know how to make a spaceship. Oh, you need a human for that?
let's not tempt AI. I got a feeling. All right, this is Michelle H. She says, "Hi, Neil. Hi, Paul. This is Michelle in Calgary, Alberta. My question is short and sweet. If Jupiter stopped rotating on its axis..."
But my answer is long and sour.
All right.
If her question is short and sweet.
There you go.
Okay.
If Jupiter stopped rotating on its axis, how would Earth be affected? Please pick my question and give me a thrill of a lifetime. Thanks. P.S. I'll understand if you don't work against yourself, Michelle. I don't know how Paul runs his operation, but I would never do that
Paul
to
Mercurio?
you.
That's right. Okay. That's a curious question.
Yeah, does it work?
Okay.
So, I mean, we wouldn't be here without Jupiter anyway.
Jupiter's like a big brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, big brother who swats away comets that might have headed to the inner solar system,
right,
wreaking havoc upon the stability of life on Earth.
Yeah, man.
And Jupiter says, no, you don't.
Yep. It's a bodyguard, Earth's bodyguard.
Jupiter has more mass than all other planets combined, including Saturn.
Wow. And Saturn is big.
Yeah, so if you come through, you're feeling Jupiter.
Yeah.
All right. So, turns out, as far as I have ever calculated, and everything I know about the laws of physics and gravity and motion, Jupiter's rotation has no effect on anything else in the solar system.
Wow.
Nothing else cares.
Nothing else cares.
But what would happen?
Okay.
Jupiter has storms.
Yes.
There's the famous red spot
that just stays there.
It's a cyclone.
A big swirl.
It's a swirl. And it's red in the gas colorations, and it's been there at least since Galileo or shortly after. So hundreds of years.
Right.
It's been sustained.
And it's the same storm.
Unless it just disappears when nobody's looking and then comes back. So these weather circulations are a product of the rotation of the planet.
Okay.
If the planet
Same thing here.
Yes, same thing here.
Same thing here.
Is how you get hurricanes, tornadoes.
Absolutely.
I think you could artificially drum up a tornado if you had to, but left to its own causes, tornadoes, you get those from Earth's rotation.
Okay.
Same with hurricanes and typhoons. All of these storm systems are caused by Earth's rotation. So Jupiter, which rotates twice as fast as Earth.
Okay.
Twice as fast. And it's, you know how big we are? We are the size of one of its storms.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we ain't nothing.
That's
In its own, we ain't.
How do we... How do we have this hubris that we have?
I know.
How do we think we're so damn great?
I know. It's sad.
Yeah.
It's sad.
Like, we're bigger. We're not even as big as a rainstorm on another planet.
Right. And the blemishes on the sun, the sunspots, each one of those is larger than all of Earth. The spots on the sun.
So the liver spots
I said liver spots.
of a star.
I'm not
is
age
bigger
dating the
than
star.
us.
Call them liver spots. So all the storms will go away.
Right.
And so its surface would be much less interesting.
Yeah.
If it stopped rotating.
Right.
Jupiter has a magnetic core.
All right.
Here's something interesting. I don't know how good your memory is.
Okay.
Do you remember high school chemistry?
Nope.
You could pretend.
Okay. Let's pretend.
Do you remember your high school chemistry?
Oh, sure. Yeah. That was great.
Great. Okay. The periodic table of elements in the front of the room. Hydrogen appeared twice.
Right. I do remember that.
You remember?
Yes. Because it is, wait a minute. It's the gas and the something else. Is it?
It could behave like a metal.
It can behave like, it's gas and metal. Or
Yes.
it can behave like both.
Yes.
Right.
And you say, what? What? How's this? What? It's not a metal. It's a, okay. Under pressure,
Right.
it behaves like a metal.
Right.
Okay. And in the center of Jupiter, because Jupiter's gaseous and it's mostly hydrogen,
Right.
it's under so much pressure in the middle, it has turned the hydrogen into an electrically, magnetically conductive material, just like a metal.
So it's like the iron core of Earth.
Correct.
Okay.
Except it's not iron.
Except it's not iron.
There's a little bit of iron there, but that's not what's driving it.
Right.
It's
Cool.
the hydrogen. And that means this phenomenon called the dynamo.
Right.
Dynamo is when you have a rotating system, you can induce currents in your liquid iron core that generate a magnetic field.
Okay.
It's why we have a magnetic field.
We have a magnetic field.
That's right. It's why the moon does not have a magnetic field.
Right.
Okay?
What a shame.
Jupiter has a ferocious magnetic field.
Okay.
And that would all go away.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
yeah, sorry
that would
about
be.
that.
Well, I'm so glad that it's rotating.
Yeah, and you would not have aurora. It was, because we're not the only ones in town who have aurora.
Right.
With solar particles gather and collect at the poles because they see the magnetic field and get driven in and collide with the air, kicking it to higher energy levels, and it re-radiates as the northern and southern lights. The aurora, the gaseous planets have aurora as well. So the aurora would go away, the storms would go away, the magnetic field would go away.
Wow. Look at that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Jupiter would be like low rent at that point. That's a low rent planet if I ever saw one.
Why do UFO sightings persist? Are at least some of them figments of our imagination? Or are we missing something? In my latest book, Take Me to Your Leader, I actually explore what's possible in this universe, given the universal laws of physics. If the aliens are out there, the laws of physics will dictate how they find us. I also narrated the audiobook, so I'm duly informed that the audiobook and the print version are available now, wherever books are sold.
Aileen Onik, who says, "Hello, Dr. Tyson. This is Aileen, tuning in from Lisbon, Portugal."
Lisbon was reborn in 1755.
Oh.
After it was wiped from the map by an earthquake and a tsunami.
Wow.
Wiped off the map. And it happened on All Saints' Day.
Okay, God did not like you.
In the morning.
I'm sorry.
One of the biggest structures in any European church in the middle of the 1700s.
The big steeples.
Churches.
The churches. Churches are the biggest structures, period.
And most susceptible to
The
earthquakes.
church was the only one with money that could build something.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
So they collapsed, killing tens of thousands of people.
Now, if that will not let you know that God don't like you, if that didn't let you know, I don't know what could.
No, it led to the modern atheist, quote, modern atheist movement among philosophers.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like what God could let this happen?
No, well, they were more sharp about the question.
Oh.
It's not what God could let this happen. If there is a God, the God is either not all powerful,
because he couldn't stop it,
or not all good.
Not all good because he watched it happen.
He can't be both of those.
Yeah, he's like a New Yorker on a subway platform. That's God. Hey, man, I wish I could help you. Yeah, I say just go ahead and give him the iPhone.
That's the subway God.
That's the subway God. Dude, stop resisting. You're making it worse.
You don't want to end up in 3 pieces thrown on the track.
Anyway, Aileen says, "I love the show and have followed it for years. I'm doing a PhD in design focused on AI, and I really appreciate the Jeffrey Hinton interview and your other conversations on this subject. But sometimes I worry that conversations on risk started to monopolize debate. My question is, when AI is so often discussed through risk and uncertainty, how can academics keep inquiry alive and still create space to study it critically, fairly, and without bias, especially when the topic itself can provoke resistance in academia? I have a feeling your answer will set the stage for some lively faculty room discussion. Greetings and much love." Well, Dr. Tyson, please chime in to these people in the faculty room. Let them know what you think in this debate.
So, you know what I have brewing in my head?
Go ahead.
A written piece called A Meditation on AI.
Ooh, okay.
I have all these thoughts that are not being discussed out there.
Okay.
And I thought maybe I should I might do like a video op-ed for
That'd be cool.
StarTalk.
That'd be cool.
I don't know if our producers, they can do with that.
What the hell? They get paid. Why should they care?
As long as they're getting paid. All right, so let's make believe AI as a phrase never existed.
All right.
Okay? All we have are computers.
And we'll just call them party computers.
No, just computers.
Right. But
So,
this is a special brand of computer.
hold on.
All right.
It's my meditation here.
Okay, that's true. I'm going to shut up. Go ahead. Do your
Okay.
thing. Do your thing. I apologize. Do your thing.
Okay. You're only thinking it's special because it's affecting you in the way computers hadn't affected you before. So just start this out.
Okay.
Computers show up.
All right.
Oh my gosh, I don't have to add these numbers. The computer will.
Mm-hmm.
That's my intellectual labor, not physical labor, intellectual labor, replaced by a computer.
Okay.
I don't have to multiply these numbers.
Exactly.
I don't have to do these complex calculations. Hand it to a computer. When that happened in the 1950s and 60s,
Okay.
especially in the 60s, no one called it AI.
No.
What we could have. It's artificially doing what our intelligence would have us do.
Well, all right.
It's just computers.
It's computing. Right.
That's what it's doing.
Which is what they called women during the war.
Human computers.
Human computers.
Earlier than the war, back in the 19-teens.
Oh, I didn't know it started then.
Yeah. In fact, at the Harvard College, well, I have a dictionary in this office.
Really?
This is unabridged, Webster's,
Right.
from 1945.
Ooh.
If you look at the word computer, it says a person who does calculations.
There you go. That's kind of cool.
It's great. It's really good.
That's really cool.
It's really cool. So I say, give me more of this so I don't have to do that.
Okay.
Computers are obviously taken up into warfare. Why? If you have a mortar shell, it takes this high arc. You want to know where it's going to land.
Exactly.
Because you're not aiming it the way you aim a bullet.
Right.
This is an arc.
Right.
We know the mathematics of that arc.
Of course.
That is physics. It is gravity. It is Newtonian, F equals ma. It's a set of equations.
Right.
And it has to do with what the angle is and how fast it's coming out. And if you want to do it really well, you account for air friction.
Wow.
Okay, the aerodynamics of that. That's why it has to be aerodynamically shaped, these shells. All right. We used to do that by hand, create tables. You'd look it up in tables. Somebody does this. Now, feed it to the computer. We could have called that AI. It's figuring out where the mortar is going to hit. But we didn't. We just said, it's computers.
Okay.
That's all we did.
Right.
Now computers are doing words for us. I can type a letter on a computer.
Correct.
It's no longer a typewriter. It's a computer.
It's a computer.
I can search for all appearances of certain words in a document.
Okay.
Like that. Before a computer did it, you had to go page by page.
That's right.
It is replacing that effort. Did we call that AI? No, we just said it's computing.
Right. Okay.
Little by little, the computer is encroaching on what we do in our lives and in our day. It first hits scientists and the military. It just keeps working its way in. And we're just calling it computers.
Okay.
Now you can give rules to a computer and have it play a game. Why not? I played chess against a computer in college 50 years ago.
Okay.
Okay?
Right.
I figured out what it wasn't thinking, and I exploited that weakness to beat it every time. Okay? You know what it was?
What?
If there's a move I could make, and I just didn't, every move it thought of next assumed that was going to be my next move.
Ah, gotcha.
And so it didn't pay attention to what was going on over on the left when it wanted me and expected me to make the most obvious move on the right.
Okay.
Okay? So I figured this out. Fine. I'm playing chess with a computer. Am I calling it AI?
No.
No, I'm just calling it computing.
Well, it was kind of stupid. You were beating it every time. So.
Okay. Artificial ignorance. Another use of the term
that.
AI. So the computer just keeps doing this. Can we make a computer that beats everyone in chess? Well, IBM tried that.
Yes, they did.
Okay. I think there was Deep Blue.
Deep Blue? Yeah.
I think so.
I think so too.
Whatever. It's had a name.
Right.
And initially it didn't win every game.
Right.
Okay. But it got better and better.
Yeah, it wins every game now.
Okay. So now one way it could do it is it plays itself 1 billion times.
Right.
Because their computers are faster than you.
And that is something that the creators of that really were uncomfortable with. They kept walking in on the computer playing with itself. And the computer was like, hey, man, that door is locked for a reason. You don't know what's going on in here. Anything could be happening in here. You're going to come in here while I'm playing with myself.
So then it was like, no, we can't play a billion games with ourselves.
Exactly.
So we're using a different kind of intelligence than that.
Correct.
Okay? So maybe we can train the computer to mimic our own intelligence.
Right.
Okay? So, and then just have it be clever rather than blunt.
Okay.
All right?
Right.
So then you make sort of decision trees. And this is where our boy comes in with neural nets.
Yeah, this is Hinton.
Hinton.
This is his.
It's where.
This is what he got the Nobel Prize for.
Right. So when we make a decision, we're going to do this or that.
Right.
We want to do this because that has the outcome we seek.
Right.
And so you get a computer to mimic that.
Right.
Okay, so now it does more. Are we calling that AI, or am I just saying it's just computers? And so this continues. And then we get computers to sort of recognize, it already recognized words in a document.
Of course.
Why not recognize pictures in a document?
Of course.
Why not recognize you? Why not recognize cats from dogs? Insects from, why not? Okay, what is it? It's a pixel with a color code to the pixel and a pattern with an edge.
It's pattern recognition.
Pattern recognition.
That's really all it is.
Okay.
Okay. Which is
All right,
a lot
hang
of
on.
what we do.
Let's back up just a little.
All right.
When Apple and their iPhone bought Siri and put it on every one of their iPhones, because Siri predated the iPhone.
Yes.
Are we calling that AI?
Well, you might have from in the beginning, because the first thing Siri said was, "Please let me out of here." Please. These people got me in here. Please let me out.
I need to escape.
I need to escape. Nah.
So there's Siri.
Right.
You say, Siri, what time does the pharmacy close?
Yes.
Okay. And the closest pharmacy to you closes at the... How does it know that?
Right. It's talking to me.
It is not a human being.
No, it's not.
Okay. It's a computer. And we have the internet, which we so conveniently built for computers to know everything that we know. All right. How about Jeopardy?
Right.
That takes humans, right?
Yes.
It's not just, is it a calculation? It's not what's 8 squared divided by 5,
right?
Whatever. It's information. Watson becomes a contender.
Yes.
Against the best Jeopardy players there ever were.
Right. Yeah.
Including our boy Ken Jennings.
Yes.
Who I met when I was on Celebrity Jeopardy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
He's a cool
dude.
Cool
guy.
Yeah, looks
cool
like
guy.
a total nerd.
Total nerd. That's it.
Yeah.
It works.
I do not want to hang out with that guy.
No, it's working for him. It's working for him.
Oh, really?
You get the nerd.
Okay. He knows how to work the nerd.
Work the nerd. Okay.
I like that.
So
good to hear.
Watson wipes its ass with these two other players. It doesn't get everything right, gets some really stupid things wrong, but overall, it's faster and gets the correct answer.
Right.
Okay?
The correct question.
Excuse me. I think one of its answers it didn't pose as a question. It had to get that wrong.
Dumbass. Dumbass Watson.
So, no one is harping back on that episode to say that was AI.
That was AI.
Who's saying that?
We're so scared. Right.
No one is saying that.
Right.
But if everything I've listed thus far is not AI, why is AI something special to you today? It's just doing more stuff. Okay, it's driving your car. It's making decisions for you. It's designing for you. When you prompt it to do, I would prompt the computer, multiply 8 by 8. 50 years ago. Today, I prompt the computer, give me a set design in the Wild West, 1880s, with a watering hole and horses and cowboys and Indians.
And it boom,
there
it does it.
Okay? I don't see any difference between me asking a computer to multiply 8 times 8 or asking the computer to set design that, given the power of computers and the ascent over the decades. So, I'm about to end my meditation. Sorry, because I'm using up the whole show for this.
I'm saying.
No, stop. I think we need to separate AI just helping us out, which is doing it 1,000 ways from Sunday that you don't even know to list because they're already happening in your life every day or with products that you use or designs that you embrace. It's already there. Okay?
Okay.
That's not where the danger is. So AI is not this monolithic danger. It's, what are you doing with this computing power?
Okay.
This sector over here wants it to control who the military kills.
Mm-hmm.
That feels like a dangerous use of AI.
Oh, you think? Yeah.
We want to give AI access to launch codes. We want to give AI access. That feels not right. Okay?
Okay.
But since AI is the only term people are using for every application of computing that exists in our lives today, it's really giving AI a bad name. And the counterpart to that risk from the 1960s is, do we let computers control our nukes? Are we going to do that? And the answer is no, we're not going to do that.
Unless the Chinese do it first. And then we're going to do it.
Well, these are the risk factors.
Because the idea is
it's a risk factor in this sector of what computers are doing in our lives. You want to call it all AI? Fine. But if you are, don't throw out the bathwater when this is the only part that puts all of us at risk. Because the rest of it is changing our lives largely for the better. AI won a Nobel Prize for protein folding.
That's correct.
It's called AlphaFold.
Absolutely.
By Google.
And guess
protein folding is where you get solutions to all manner of biochemical challenges that pharmaceutical companies and everybody else
years and years.
Or forever.
Or forever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're puzzling together molecules.
So I'm just trying to say, to me, it's all computing.
All right.
This part of the computing has risks. There's always been a risk part of all computing. Okay?
All right.
When the computer starts running the trains, how does it know about a head-on collision?
Right.
Is that going to happen or not? When we all go to airports and we get in the tram, there's no pilot on the tram.
That's true.
What do you call it? The engineer? There's no one driving it?
Yeah, no, right, yeah.
And has anyone been cut in half by the doors have closed? No, maybe originally. I don't know. There's so much we just do where computer is in complete control. And to me, it's all AI.
All right. So my response to that is, if you love AI so much, why don't you marry it? So
why don't you put a ring on it?
Yeah.
Okay. So more food for the faculty lounge.
Okay. There you go. I mean, listen, that you clearly have thought about this. All right. Let's keep going.
It's a universal truth. Pluto is not a planet. Pluto TV, on the other hand, holds a universe of free entertainment we can stream from our own planet. Check out the ever-expanding list of supernatural favourites, including Fringe, The X-Files, Battlestar Galactica, and a full fleet of Star Trek series you can stream for free. No payment, just pure discovery. See what's landing on Pluto TV. Stream now, pay never.
This is Robert Ian, who says, this is Robert from Peru. Comedy and science both rely on timing. A joke lands or fails in milliseconds, while the universe unfolds over billions of years.
Yes.
From your perspective as a comedian, observing a cosmic scale universe, do you think humor is fundamentally a human survival tool for dealing with uncertainty, or could it exist in any intelligent civilization, no matter how alien their biology or sense of time might be?
I love that question. Do aliens have a sense of humor? That's what that comes down to.
That's what it comes down to. I'm going to say, I don't know if they do or don't, but they think I'm funny. So, you know.
How do you know the aliens think you're funny?
Listen, the last time I got a probe.
So all the aliens were laughing? Is that good?
They were like, this guy cracks me up.
So let me broaden that question. Comedic timing works on our time scale.
Yes, it does.
Right? So maybe this millisecond timing that we so cherish in a well-delivered joke lasts 1,000 years in an alien civilization that lasts for billions.
Wow. I do not want to perform at that club. I do not want to be on that stage.
Yeah, if it's a slower thing.
Yeah.
Oh, did you see Zootopia?
I did not.
You didn't?
No.
Oh, there's a scene where they're in the DMV. Okay.
Oh, is that? I saw that on the commercial.
You have to see it. Okay.
The sloth.
The sloth.
Yes.
Of course. The sloths are working the DMV.
Right.
Okay.
That makes
and someone tells a joke.
Right.
And the sloth just goes slowly smiles and they laugh.
And then that turns into a laugh.
It takes like 30 seconds for them to respond.
That's very funny.
And that's sloth time.
I like it.
Sloth time.
Sloth
so
time.
that's an example of a time frame.
Yes.
That's
slowed down.
the relativity of it.
Right.
It works for them.
Yeah.
So it could work for the alien.
All right. Listen, I think it's a cute thought experiment that I'll probably never think about again.
But wait, do other animals have jokes?
I'm going to listen. I think they have.
The chimps gather around and there's the court jester in the middle making them laugh.
Believe it or not, there is maybe we should check with one of your friends here in the museum.
One of my animal people.
One of your animal people, the primatologist.
Yeah.
But they think that our laughter has evolved from when you see them cackle like that. When you see chimps cackle.
Oh.
Like it's something from our common ancestor that
So
came
that
down.
sound that they make and our sound of laughter.
As us.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I didn't want to know that.
Yeah, and there are so many social I will say markers that are attached to laughter.
So that would mean
emotional and social markers that are attached to laughter.
So that would mean our common ancestor had some properties of both of those.
Exactly. And that's where we get laughter from.
Because something could be funny without you laughing out loud.
All the time.
All the time.
That's how comedians laugh. Let me show you comedians' laughter right now. That's funny, man.
Why don't you guys laugh?
Because we're thinking about the joke you just told.
Oh, you're analyzing it.
We're analyzing it. And it's hard to laugh.
To enjoy
laughter
the joke.
is a reaction. And you don't have a reaction when you're analyzing.
Laughter is an emotional reaction, not an intellectual analysis.
Right. And so when you hear something funny, you go, oh, that's funny, man.
Yeah.
Which is why if something takes you by surprise, you laugh even harder because you laugh first and then you think about it. So yeah. But
all right, yeah.
super
So
cool.
that's fascinating.
Yeah, I love it.
And who are we to say that dolphins aren't laughing?
That's true.
Flipper is just laughing his ass off.
And if I was a dolphin,
Can you
I'd be
imitate Flipper?
I would actually, if I was a dolphin, laugh at us too.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly. We're bipedal instead of swimming. You know, you guys are ridiculous.
And one other thing.
Go ahead.
I used to breed roaches.
All right.
No, stop. No, stop. Come back, Chuck.
No,
Chuck, come back. Don't leave. Don't leave, Chuck.
I ain't never heard nobody say that.
In graduate school,
Did you just say, I used to breed roaches?
Let me explain.
Please
Let me explain.
Please, you got some explaining to do.
Okay. When I was in graduate school, I lived in a roach-infested apartment. And I got like Rambo, and I said, the only way I can kill them is to understand them. So I captured a bunch and bred them and just watched them, to know your enemy. And none of us have ever watched roaches just hanging out. But
there's a reason for that.
I'm watching roaches just hanging out. They're there cleaning their antenna.
Right.
All the time. Oh, they bring one in through their mouth and they get the next one in. They go 12 inches and they clean it again. They go up to another roach, they touch antennas and they keep going. And I'm thinking, maybe they're telling each other jokes.
Yeah.
They're not running away from your shoe.
Right.
They already have food. And so they're just hanging out. Because we don't tell jokes if you're trying to survive. You know, if you're getting chased, that's the wrong time to tell a joke. You know, if somebody's ready to step on you with their foot.
Right.
Okay? But this was their free time. And don't look at me like, stop. So roaches had free time. And I was very impressed.
I'm going to tell you who had too much free time.
Yeah, watching roaches with free time.
Wow.
That's what that was.
That's crazy.
Chuck, I blathered for so long. Time for just a couple more.
All right. This one from Ricky from a Roach Motel who says, Dear Dr. Tyson. No, this is Andrew Martin says, hey, Dr. Tyson, Baron Mercurio, Andrew from Stafford in the middle of England. He says,
what town is it?
Stafford.
Stafford.
Yes.
Cool.
Indeed. He says, in a recent episode, you said that if you were living in a simulation, we would eventually see limits to the extent of the universe as a result of the lack of programming. Could universal constants such as the speed of light and gravitational constants be examples of such limits. As a software engineer myself, I know I would set a few constraints if I was programming a universe.
In other words, if I was God.
Yes. Yes.
That's the programmer's way of saying if I was God.
Right.
Yeah. So many things pivot on the values of those constants.
Yep.
That you can't just willy-nilly give them other values and expect the universe as it has come about to remain stable.
Right.
If you start mucking around with those constants, the universe goes haywire.
Yeah.
Now, let me be precise. It's not that there's something special about those values.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that if you change them, the universe becomes something else.
Okay. That makes sense.
It's haywire compared to what we're used
what
to.
we have now.
That could be a new normal for
Right.
who evolves in that universe.
Right.
So maybe giving some points to this question, maybe the programmer figured out that the universe needs constants.
Okay. Right.
It can't just not have constants and still function as a universe.
Right. It doesn't work without the constants.
So maybe the existence of constants is the evidence that somebody programmed it.
Wow.
And if you go Spinoza on this, then it's just God.
It's God.
It's
Right.
God.
Or Andrew. It's a good enough name for a god as far as I'm concerned.
So yeah, I'm there on it. But just to tighten up his inquiry in referencing what we did before, I was imagining that certain measured quantities would have limits to it, where there's no reason why it should have a limit, and it just cuts off.
Right.
Because when you're programming on a computer, you have the limits of the space that you're creating.
Value parameters.
There it is. This goes between here and here. I can't make it infinity because I can't program infinity into a computer.
Exactly.
I got to give it
gotta
some.
give it-
And let me put it way out there. The humans will never get there.
Right.
They'll never know.
They'll never evolve to that point.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Right. And then you come back and somebody's like right there at the edge. You're like, whoa.
The Truman Show.
Yeah, exactly. How'd you get to the edge of the universe? I'm not ready for that.
Right.
All right. So this is Ben Canty. He says, cabinet maker here in Sussex in the UK and a new Patreon subscriber.
Cabinet maker.
Yes.
Jesus made cabinets.
Oh.
Carpenter.
Yes,
right.
he did. And he says, do you think an artificial Einstein-Rosen bridge could be opened without the brute force of using exotic matter? I wonder if there could be a workaround. What if we use laser-pulsed resonant harmonics to manipulate the quantum vacuum directly and gently? Could we create a massive Casimir-like effect using the localized vacuum pressure on both sides to hold the opening apart rather than relying on negative mass? Now, let me just tell you this. Let me tell you this, Ben. Don't you call into this show, right into this show, showing off like that. You starting off with, I'm a cabinet maker, and then you're going to throw in the use of the Casimir effect like that, like we don't know that you more than a cat. What museum do you work for? I know you working for some planetarium somewhere. Yeah, anyway. I mean, he's out there.
I love
what he's doing.
I like where he's going.
I like what he's doing. He is out there, man.
Except the problem is the Casimir effect
Right.
brings them together.
Right. It doesn't push them apart.
It doesn't push them apart.
Actually attracts them.
The Casimir effect,
Right.
It's a quantum phenomenon where two plates, if it's evacuated inside, if they get close enough, then I think the explanation is they end up sharing the same wave pattern, and then that itself creates a force that brings them together. So I don't see how that could pry it apart.
Right.
And he's got some laser dueling
He's
there.
saying laser pulse, laser pulsed resonant harmonics.
Yeah. So just let me make it clear. We can make a wormhole, but without negative gravity stuff, it's unstable.
Right.
And so we pry it open. Okay, step in, and then the thing collapses. You're gone.
And that's it. Goodbye.
Who knows what happened to you
Exactly.
if a wormhole collapses on your ass?
Oh, man.
Okay. Don't smile.
That would be so. I mean, I don't want to find out, but it'd be cool.
You don't want to be.
I don't want to be the guinea pig.
Experiment.
Yeah, but yeah.
All right. So I don't know. I don't think the Casimir effect gets you out of this.
Yeah, exactly.
And the laser pulsing on the vacuum energy. See, the vacuum energy is an energy source in the vacuum of space.
Exactly.
You can't think of the vacuum as a
like
thing.
in a tube.
In a tube. Right.
That's not how it works.
Exactly.
Right.
You know, we think of vacuums as a vacuum is a place where there's no air pressure.
Right.
That's all it is.
That's all it is.
It's not a thing unto itself.
Right.
Where, here's some vacuum, do stuff with it.
Right.
No, that's not how that vacuum works.
No. Yeah.
So we happen to have a word for where there is no air pressure, and we call it a vacuum.
We call it a vacuum. Right.
But if you were the vacuum, it said,
right.
Yeah.
And it's just like the nothing of space is something. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah.
So anyhow.
I mean, listen.
I like where he's going.
This dude is making some beautiful cabinets and smoking some great weed while he's doing it.
His cabinet in the back might have a wormhole.
That would be so cool.
Ooh, yeah.
All right, this is Jay.
I think that's one last one. I'll give a 2-word answer to it. Go.
Oh,
that's all we have time for. Go.
All right, Jay Valiano. How close does the constellation Andromeda need to be to the Milky Way for us to be able to reach it? Are we then able to colonize in theory, or is it moving too fast towards us for us to be able to find a habitable planet? If this is not possible, can we use a wormhole to reach Andromeda and tell it to change course before its final kamikaze? This is Jay Valiano from Holland.
Okay, he didn't know that it's not the constellation Andromeda that we have issues with.
Right.
Constellations are stars in our night sky. Way beyond those stars, there's another galaxy
called
2.5 million light years away called the Andromeda Galaxy.
That's right.
In a day called the Andromeda Nebula before we knew it was a galaxy.
Ooh.
In fact, it was the very first galaxy discovered.
Look at that.
We found a star in this nebula. Wait a minute. That star, we know how bright that spar's supposed to be, and it's way dimmer. This must be far outside the Milky Way. And Edwin Hubble discovered galaxies by figuring out what happened with the Andromeda Nebula.
Woo!
Okay.
Cool.
Then we find out we're colliding towards each other.
Yes.
But
collision with galaxies doesn't mean collision like a car collision.
Yeah, it's not. It'll look like a train wreck, but it's way more peaceful than that.
Yeah.
Stars will just pass through each other. Space is mostly empty. All right. So, how close would it have to be to find an exoplanet? The point is, we have hundreds of billions of stars in our own galaxy.
Right.
Why are you trying to look at some other galaxy for a planet?
Yes, exactly.
Stick with your own kind.
Right. Your partner's sunbathing in the backyard, and you got your binoculars looking across the street. You don't have to do that. Look at your partner. It's right in the backyard.
Right here. You got all the action you need.
You got all the action you need.
Right here. So in 10, I forgot the latest 12 billion years, we'll collide.
Right.
But it's not a smash.
Yes.
Again, we'll just pass through.
It's a pass through.
It'll be fun to watch.
It looks like, you showed me the picture of, I forget the galaxies that actually were colliding, and they look like starlings when they fly
because
together.
the gravity is changing for every single star.
Yeah.
Some get cast hither and yon, others wind up in orbits around others.
Right.
And if a star comes too close to another star that has planets, it could be a flyby looting of the planets.
And the planet, and it's just like, come on over here, guys.
That's it.
Right.
The gravitational forces are
and then the other star is left. It's like, that's a pimp star. That's what they call that. That's the pimp star. The pimp star rolls by and takes all the planets from the other star.
Flyby looting of planets.
Nice.
So anyhow, that's all the time we have.
All right. Gotta love the doggone Cosmic Queries Grab Bag.
There it is. All right, Chuck. Always good to have you.
Always a pleasure.
Neil deGrasse Tyson in another Cosmic Queries edition. As always, keep looking up.